can never ever become a Frenchman. You could go and live in Australia, but you would never ever be an Australian. But people can come from anywhere in the world and become an American. It's part of our culture. But the immigration issue is one that's escalated certainly over the last decade. I like what Arizona has done. The magnet that is drawing people here are jobs. And I don't think you can deal with the issue in isolation. You've got to deal with the magnet. Mississippi is one of only 2 states in the nation that has passed legislation. We deal with employers. The other state's Arizona. And we tell the employer, you must verify either the citizenship status or the immigration status of every employee. And if you don't, there are sanctions on the employer. That's what's drawing people here. Now, people may get here and take advantage of our education, our health care, etc., but the magnet is jobs. So I think we've got to deal with that. I'm frustrated. The Arizona law is essentially the federal law codified into state language. And I think that the federal government ought to be on its knees saying, thank you, Arizona, for helping us enforce a very difficult law. But instead, the federal government has filed suit against the state of Arizona. In Congress, I think we ought to do everything we can to deny whatever resources are necessary to follow that lawsuit. We've got to secure the border because it becomes not just an economic issue, it very quickly becomes an internal security issue. Those people that come here in open defiance of our immigration law, I don't think it's reasonable that we expect them that they would abide by any other law, including our laws to protect private property and our laws to protect individuals.
Hey, I'm Maddie. I'm a political science and history major, junior, from Greenville, Mississippi. I have a public education question. In the past, you have voted against taxes time and again. However, due to a lack of revenue, qualified teachers have lost jobs. And the Mississippi school systems are subpar for us. What do you suggest to make them better? And if elected, how would you implement this?
I have voted against taxes. I'm proud of it. I think certainly in a difficult economic time, the worst thing we could do is to tell men and women who are struggling, okay, we're going to take more of your money. A couple of weeks ago, I was in a business. The owner of the business, pretty large manufacturing operation, said I called all my employees in and said, okay, we've got a choice. Every one of us here can take a 20% pay cut. I'll lead the way. Or we can close down. Let's decide. Well, that's tough. I was in another business. I told that story to the business owner. Again, a large manufacturing operation. The man said, let me tell you, for the last 2 years, my wife has been working at below minimum wage in this business. He said, I took a 50% pay cut in order to keep my employees. I want to keep them here. If I can keep the cash flow, I know my business is going to turn around. And I just want to be able to keep my employees here working so that when it does turn around, I'll be able to make money. Yes, we've had a few teachers lose jobs in this state, but we haven't asked teachers to take a 20% pay cut. Families are making very difficult decisions in this state. I told you all about being involved, how I got into public office, going through the merger from hell. When I did that, I walked away from a pretty high-paying job, and my wife and I, for 48 hours, it was pretty emotional. And then we sat down, poured a pot of coffee one morning, drew a line down the middle of a sheet of notebook paper and said, okay, on the left side, this is how we got money coming in. On the right side, this is how we're going to pay it out. We had to make some tough decisions. In a region with 12% unemployment, there's no doubt in my mind there are families in North Mississippi that are going through that same exercise this morning. And if they're doing it in their personal budgets, if they're doing it in their business budgets, I think they have every reason to expect their government to do the same thing. I do support public schools. I support university funding. But more importantly than any individual project that I support a concept of living within our means. And so if our state revenue is down, and our state revenue may be down as much as 20%, if our state revenue is down, we're going to find a way to get through it together. I think the way we're going to grow it, we're going through a national recession. I think you're going to see Mississippi come out of that national recession on top. A great example is the Toyota plant that was recently announced, resuming operations in Union County. Toyota had a joint venture with General Motors in Long Beach, California, and they had to make a decision. Do we want to expand that, or do we want to go to North Mississippi? I cannot tell you this is the only factor. In California, they're paying their teachers and state employees with IOUs because they have refused to make the difficult decisions. And the policymakers in Toyota are looking at it and saying, wait a minute, if we locate and expand in Long Beach, California, then the odds of a significant corporate tax increase being levied upon our operation are pretty high. We like what we've seen in Mississippi, where the policymakers have made very difficult decisions, but they're living within their budget. The result, they're resuming operations in Toyota, and the big advantage of Toyota is not the plant itself, it's the spinoff businesses. As we do that, and the economy begins to grow from that. I was, a couple weeks ago in DeSoto County. There's a company that is locating from Silicon Valley to DeSoto County, Mississippi. The investors, group of venture capitalists, stood up and said, we are now part of the Mississippi community, and we're going to talk to other people in Silicon Valley and talk to them about moving to Mississippi. Well, folks, when we got people moving from Silicon Valley to North Mississippi, that's big news. As that happens, we're going to see our economy grow. And as that happens, I think you're going to see our commitment to schools grow. Hannah?
I'm Hannah Ratola, and I'm from Jackson and Baton Rouge. And
How can you be from both?
I moved to Jackson when I was a junior.
Okay. I moved to Jackson when I was a junior. Met my wife.
My question is, what parts of the Affordable Health Care for America Act do you support, and which parts do you not support?
The health care bill. First thing I think we need to do is take all of it off the books and start over. I think they got it wrong. But I will acknowledge that we've got some serious challenges with health care in our nation. Our health care system was designed for the post-World War II economy. The reason I say that, we have a health care system, we're the only health care system in the world that attaches health care financing to your job. Let me give you a little background as to how we got there. World War II, all of the forces of our nation were focused on the production for the war effort. But if you're not careful, all that happens, your economy will experience hyperinflation because everything was going to build airplanes and tanks and gas masks and rations, and it was all going to the war effort. So as part of that, in order to hold down inflation, Congress passed wage and price controls. So it would be illegal to raise the prices of your goods and services, also illegal to raise the prices of your what you pay your employees. But you know what? If I'm an airplane manufacturer, I still have to attract and retain quality employees. And there's a tank manufacturer across town, and they have to attract and retain quality employees. And the tank manufacturer sees somebody that works for me that's good at what they do. They want them to go work over there. But they can't offer them any more money. So some of the large employers said, we've got a new idea. We are going to offer you as a benefit